I want to do this before we have to finish our discussion. What is the actual technique of meditation? Can you give people, our audience, some insights on how to meditate?
Well, I would say to start with that whatever I say will not be in agreement with many other techniques, simply because the average individual who is seeking meditation expects there has to be a lot of physical, objective things in connection with it. He has to have a certain posture. He maybe has to wear a certain robe and sandals. And he goes through all those sort of things thinking that this is necessary. In fact, some of the teachers of meditation do that because they know if they try to approach it strictly from an intellectual point of view or strictly from the true merits of meditation, the person says, well, I don't think about it. They expect something dramatic, something strange, something mysterious. But there is nothing mysterious about it. In the first place, there is a certain amount of purification self-purging that you have to do yourself. In other words, you have to get rid of your feelings of depression, put them aside, any feelings of animosity, any feelings of hatred, any feelings of jealousy you have, as much as is humanly possible to purge yourself in that way. Now, you should also do reasonable amount of breathing, deep breathing, to help cleanse your fresh air, to cleanse your lungs, bring in as much of the positive force, of life force that's in the air, to stimulate your nervous system and to clarify help your whole physical system and mental system. That is basically it. Naturally, you should be in a relaxed position. You don't have to go to the oriental position of crossing your legs and doing all that sort of thing. Get in a position that's relaxed, easy for you, that doesn't inhibit your circulation. You should wear loose garments as a practical thing. This is a practical point. It's not just do some weird thing. In other words, you shouldn't wear tight shoes, tight clothes, which you're conscious. You shouldn't be conscious of your clothes when you're doing this. You shouldn't be conscious of anything except what you're trying to do. That is the, let's say, the physical part of it, you see. Then the second part of it, you must realize that you're going through a process of using the various stages of consciousness. Consciousness is a level. Actually, consciousness is not a thing itself. Consciousness is a function of the vital life force in our being. It's not a thing. You can't point to this and say, this is consciousness, because right away, consciousness of what? You don't know you're conscious unless you're conscious of something. Consciousness is a function of the thing in itself. And you're just trying to move upward. Trying not to hold a thought. You can start at first saying, I want a peace, I want quiet to enter into this thing. See? But if you hold a thought in your mind continuously, that's not going to help you at all. You are arrested. You're keeping the thought in your objective consciousness. You put a clamp on right in the middle across the whole stream of consciousness. I'm staying here. And those are some simple.
So you can start with a thought. For
you can
something
start with
altruistic,
a thought,
something
altruistic,
high-minded.
That you want to do something that's not purely selfish, not purely for your own material gain and benefit, because then you're objectifying that you want to gain by it, but with it you hope to be able to help others do something of the same kind. And it's altruistic. If you want to use the term, spiritually minded, if you want to use that term. See?
So in other words, if you do the deep breathing and you're relaxed and so on, and then you take some thought, maybe it's a piece of scripture if people are religious.
Anything that seems to lift your mind up at the time.
And if
turn to a Bible, turn to the Buddhist works, turn to the Old Testament of the Jews.
Or something of Rosicrucian writing if you happen to be
anything that will motivate you, that's right.
And then if you begin to dwell on that and mull on it, but let the thoughts move of themselves, not just fix on it.
That's right.
Now, there has
to be the spirit of the thing rather than the word.
Okay. And then, at some point, what do? Let go?
You let go. You will find yourself drifting a little bit. You will find if you try to pull yourself back and hold the thought, that's bad. That's bad. You hear this business about hold the thought. It annoys me so much when I hear it because you're just arresting yourself, see. The person says, well, you hold a positive thought. That is nothing so overdone as holding a positive thought. And that's all you do hold. Is a positive thought.
And you get nothing else from it.
Positive thought should be a jumping off place for how that positive thought can be developed into something what you can use to develop, bring it about. If you just hold a positive thought, it's useless.
So I know that one of our Rosicrucian class masters used a good analogy. He said after we have this, we take this thought, we let it work through us, we let it expand in our minds, then there's a moment where, as we begin to drift away, we release it. And we wait in passive anticipation, the way we would if we were at the theater with our favorite symphony, just before the curtains are about to open. And there's no thought about what's the conductor going to wear, where are the oboes going to be. It's just this marvelous anticipation that something wonderful is going to happen. and then we just wait.
Well,
That's hard.
That's true. The thought is merely a declaration of what you want to do. It's not the thing itself. It's a declaration of what you want to do. And when you feel that you're beginning to do it, let the thought go. See? That's the idea.
And I suppose keeping the idea in mind that we, or maybe the last idea, the sense that we are the cosmic, we are one with this, and then just letting it go. That's hard, Mr. Lewis. The letting go is hard.
The letting go, that's true. That's very difficult. No one ever said that true meditation is easy. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. See, it's not easy at all. And the many thousands and probably millions of people today are looking for meditation because they think it's going to be a sudden illumination in some way that's going to transcend their common life, and they're going to be lifted up and so on. And all they got to do is sit calmly, put their hands in a certain position across their legs, and take a few deep breaths and say a few mantras. Now, mantras or vowel sound intonation is merely helpful. It's an instrument of help to start with. It'll stimulate you, or relax you depending on the circumstances, or if you're depressed and so on, it'll help relieve you of that. They're mere tools, that's all, see? And now, after a person builds something, a carpenter builds something that he wants, and he's finished, that's the project's finished. You don't go walking around with the saw and the hammer in his hand all day. It's done. He's done with it. He's finished. It serves its purpose.
Mr. Lewis, can you give me one last word of encouragement? If I work at this technique, really consciously try and use it every day, in my life, will I get better at it, Mr. Lewis?
Yes, if you don't go at it too objectively. If you go objective to detective, by God, I'm going to do this attitude, why, you may not get anywhere at all. The thing to do is to sit down quietly and say, well, now this is the time I'm going to meditate in the way in which we said. And this is one case where determination and persistence will not help you. The fellow was very persistent and getting things done and is determined he's going to do it. He's defeating himself. He's putting a wall right up against himself.
But again, we must, perhaps what will help us in this regard is our real petitioning that we
petitioning, say, I would like this. I'm going to try this. And if you don't succeed at that time, don't keep it up. Don't try to keep it up. Wait till some other time. But it seems when you seem to have the urge to do it.
Mr. Lewis, it has been delightful having you with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Viewpoint explores the more mysterious realms of science and philosophy and the psychic. Join us again with our next viewpoint as we bring to you another in our mysterious quest for the hidden, the occult, and the mystical. Thank you very much.
We hope you have enjoyed this program, that you have benefited from the personal insights expressed by these Rosicrucians, and that you will join us again for another challenging presentation of Rosicrucian Insight. Viewpoint is brought to you by the Rosicrucian Order AMORC, a non-profit, non-sectarian educational organization located in San Jose, California.